this is Randy. Just thought I'd throw a little wrench into the mix of our talk about narcissists and codependence and talk about love addictions, love addicts. It's not a term that's used too commonly. Doesn't seem like there's much study done on it. Seems like it might point to a lot of other things that are common in normal relationships. Well, you decide. I'm just going to go straight to this article that is on recoveryranch.com, and it's entitled, "What are the most common indicators of love addiction?" I'm going to scroll down to the indicators. Typical signs of love addiction include, see if you find yourself on this list. Mistaking intense sexual experiences and new romantic excitement for love. Constantly craving and searching for a romantic relationship. When in a relationship, being desperate to please and fearful of the other's unhappiness. Okay, I can already see in here this is a mix of narcissistic traits and codependent traits. Not necessarily NPD. When not in a relationship, feeling desperate and alone. And I would kind of add to that would not include, right after getting out of a relationship with a narcissist or really any long-term relationship. Everyone's going to feel desperate and alone, I would think. I think that's a normal response. Inability to maintain an intimate relationship once the newness and excitement have worn off. Finding it unbearable or emotionally difficult to be alone. Yikes. When not in a relationship, compulsively using sex and fantasy to fill the loneliness. Choosing partners who are emotionally unavailable and or verbally or physically abusive. I think they're talking about a pattern there. Choosing partners who demand a great deal of attention and caretaking, but who do not meet or even try to meet your emotional or physical needs. Again, I think that's a pattern. Participating in activities that don't interest you or go against your personal values in order to keep or please a partner. Well, we've all done that, haven't we? Giving up important interests, beliefs, or friendships to maximize time in the relationship or to please a romantic partner. Using sex, seduction, and manipulation, guilt, or shame to hook or hold on to a partner. Using sex or romantic intensity to tolerate difficult experiences or emotions. Missing out on important family, career, or social experiences to search for a romantic or sexual partner. Using anonymous sex, porn, or compulsive masturbation to avoid needing someone, thereby avoiding all relationships. Finding it difficult or impossible to leave unhealthy or abusive relationships despite repeated promises to oneself or others to do so. Repeatedly returning to previously unmanageable or painful relationships despite promises to oneself or others to not do so. While all romantic relationships may exhibit some of the above signs, at least occasionally, with love addiction, there's a consistent pattern of one or more, usually more, of the signs, and the pattern results in ongoing and eventually escalating negative life consequences. Much like sex addicts, love addicts are searching for something outside of themselves, a person, a relationship, or experience, to provide them with the emotional and life stability they lack. In other words, love addicts use their intensely stimulating romantic experiences to temporarily fix themselves and feel emotionally stable. Happily, in a similar fashion to sex addicts, and in fact, in many of the same treatment and self-help venues, love addicts can find the help they need. Ongoing help can be found in therapy, both individual and group, and 12-step self-help programs like SLAA, Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous. So, some of these traits seem very codependent. Some seem like sex addicts. Some seem like a narcissist. Mistaking sexual experience for love. I think a lot of us would be guilty of that, or at least hoping that it's love. Constantly craving and searching for a romantic relationship. I don't know. That sounds pretty narcissistic / sex addiction. Desperate to please and fearful of not pleasing the other. That's definitely not a narcissist. Feeling desperate when not in a relationship. The narcissist does that, but it's just because they're lacking supply. Can't maintain an intimate relationship once the newness and excitement has worn off. I hear a lot of narcissists are like that. Finding it emotionally difficult to be alone. Compulsively using sex and fantasy to fill the loneliness. There's the compulsion of the sex addict and of the narcissist. So, anyway, these patterns are unhealthy. If you see any of them in yourself at all, decide if it's a pattern. Don't necessarily label yourself a narcissist, a codependent, a love addict, or a sex addict. However, if it is a pattern, it's probably something that needs to be looked into a little bit further. It's an interesting idea. I think it's very hard to decipher if somebody would be truly, just this love addict and not one of the other three things that I've actually named. I think it's going to be hard to determine this. But I thought I would bring this into the mix because I haven't heard many people talking about this love addiction that is claimed to be a new problem. My guess is it's just really a combination of problems, and it's somebody who acts out their need for love and attention through sex and then puts more meaning into sex than it should have in terms of whether or not it really means love. All right, well, thanks for listening. Give me some comments down below.